Greetings. I'm Raining Moon, and this is Oak Moon Grove. This video is a part 2 to how animals talk. If you didn't watch the first video, I am going to put a link in the description. I recommend it. That video focuses more on birdsong and bird communication. I want to start off this video by talking about how important it is, the way that we carry ourselves when we go out into the forest, when we're out in the woods, because this really affects how we are able to observe animals in their natural habitat. The way you carry yourself really does matter. So if you are walking very loudly, you are clopping your feet and kicking leaves, you are talking with a person next to you, you are talking on the phone, a lot of animals are going to flee from you. The birds will fly away, the deer will leap away from you, and some animals, you won't get to notice them at all because they will hear you coming from a mile off. So it's really important when you are out in nature to walk very quietly and mindfully. So with each step, making sure you're not snapping lots of branches, that you're not kicking things around. Walk quietly. That's very important. The second thing that is really very important in being able to observe animal language is also your awareness. So a lot of us have a sort of tunnel vision, is the way that we see things and we focus on things, and we've been taught this even through school. But this is not how a lot of wild animals use their vision. They have an expanded awareness so that they can see all around them at all times. When you have tunnel vision, you're so focused on this one thing, and not only your vision is focused there, but also your hearing gets focused there as well. When you expand your vision to take in more of the landscape, you are going to start noticing movement up in the trees and in the bushes around you. You're going to start noticing a lot more animals. So walking quietly and mindfully, and also expanding your vision and expanding your awareness of everything is really key to helping you to observe animals. Now I want to talk about a few forms of animal communication. I want to focus on their sixth sense and also on body language, because a lot of wild animals are not vocally communicating often. More often than not, they're using non-vocal forms of communication with no sound. A great way to learn this non-verbal communication is if you have a pet that you can observe, or you have a friend who has a pet, because all these movements that the animal makes, depending on the situation, you might notice a cat, when their curiosity is piqued about something, their tail kind of sways around, or their ears go back. If they might be angry or upset, their whole body posture changes. And this is important to read in animals, and in each other also. It helps us to empathize and understand what it is they are feeling. So if you can do that with practice on a pet, pet them, see how they react to things, if they're looking out a window or something like that. Really watch them and their body movements and what they're doing, and it can tell you a lot about how they're feeling. Now, the other form of communication is through a form of sixth sense. And this is something that we all have, though a lot of humans tend to vocalize more and not depend on so much of the sixth sense for reading into each other. But animals are extremely feeling beings. They're emotional beings. And so it's good to tune into this kind of energy that they give off. There was this story about a boy with his dog, and he had this dog for a long time, and then he went away to college, and the dog stayed home with his mom. And when he would come home to visit from college, the dog would wait by the front gate, and he would know when the son was coming home. Even though a lot of times it was unplanned visits, the mother didn't even know that he was coming, and he was at from such a far distance, and he was taking a train, but the dog would sit there for hours and hours knowing that the boy was on his way home, and the mother couldn't understand how the dog could know this. It's not that he could smell him from such a far distance. It's that they were connected in a sort of telepathic way. Kind of the way that a mother can sense that her child may be hurt or ill from a distance. There's a form of communication that is beyond the physical when dealing with animals. If you take, for example, let's say even like a vixen, a fox, with her kits. In the den, there's absolute silence. She's still communicating to them to let them know what she wants them to do. She's keeping it quiet in there because she doesn't want to attract predators or other creatures that might be in the area. But when they're outside of the den, she's very vocal with them and telling them how to do things with her, yips and barks and such. But within the den, there is this silent communication going on, and it's a combination of an empathetic type of communication as well as body language. So it's a really interesting form of communication. And another thing that I really want to discuss with you too is, and this kind of blends into this energetic communication, is when you go out into the forest, if you want to come across and see animals, what's going on within you really matters, because the animals have that sixth sense and they use it and they can sense it. So, sometimes when people go out into the forest for a walk and they're not actually really there in the forest, they're kind of in their heads. They're thinking about what they have to pick up for dinner, and they're thinking about an argument that they had with somebody or something that happened at work, and they're not really being there. And if they're carrying any anger or frustration within them, the animals will sense it and they will move away from you, and you won't be able to observe them in that way because they feel you. So it's very important to, when you are going out in nature and you want to observe animals, that you clear your mind, bring yourself to a neutral state or even a very open state, a state of awe and wonder and taking everything in. So be in present moment. This will really help you to observe animals. So get out of your head, switch off that monkey mind that's going on, and you will notice a lot more animals around you. Open your heart to them, open your senses, and they'll be more likely to even approach you if you have this sort of heart space that is open to them and not filled with a lot of negativity. really do. They can honestly feel that. So I hope you enjoyed these videos, and if you did, please give a thumbs up. It's really appreciated. If you want to hear more, please subscribe to my channel. Until next time, I wish you love, serenity, and grace. Namaste.